Today we're going to look at 10 intriguing disappearance cases that remain unsolved to this day. Sometimes we encounter cases so intriguing that we don't know how to interpret or react to them. In fact, those incidents are happening around us, and you may witness such cases in your daily life, even though we don't hope for that. Every year, hundreds of missing cases are reported to the police, and while police manage to solve some of those cases, some remain unsolved. Number 1. Trevoline Evans. Trevoline Evans, a 52-year-old antique dealer, placed a note on the door of her shop on June 16, 1990. The note said she would be back in 2 minutes. According to the records, she bought some apples and a banana, and the banana skin found in her shop implied that she returned to the shop, although this was not confirmed. The last sighting of Trevoline was near her home, although there were 2 other suspected sightings. In 1992, Detective Chief Inspector Colin Edwards, head of the continuing investigation about the disappearance, said, "It is without doubt the strangest inquiry I have been involved with. How a happily married woman could vanish without a trace on a sunny Saturday morning in a busy town center is totally baffling." Later, the police reopened the case twice. Their first one was in 2001. They thought that a new forensic technology may help solve the case, however, it didn't work. The police arrested Trevoline's husband, Richard, who was arranging a holiday at the time of his wife's disappearance, but then he was released without charge. The second was in 2011, when the police suspected that the case may be related to a serial killer named Robin Leguis, but they ruled any possibility connection out a year later. Her husband Richard died in 2015 without knowing what happened to his wife. Number 2. Susan Cox Powell. Susan Powell and her husband Josh moved to Utah in order to get away from Josh's father, who was sexually obsessed with Susan. Also, they had problems in their marriage, and Susan was expressing this situation to her friends. She even recorded a video and wrote a secret will saying, "I want it documented that there is extreme turmoil in our marriage, and if I die, it may not be an accident, even if it looks like one." On December 7, 2009, Josh's mother and sister went to their home, but they couldn't get into the house. They called the police. When the police came and entered the house, nobody was home. Then Josh came with the children and told the police that when he left the home to go camping with the children, Susan was sleeping. That was the day Susan went missing. Josh, who didn't seem concerned about Susan during the interrogation, was the main person of interest in the investigation. However, the police couldn't find any evidence that could prove his involvement in the suspected crime. When searching the house for a clue, the police found blood samples. According to a DNA test, one blood sample matched Susan, but the others didn't match Josh, or his father, who was arrested on charges of child pornography and voyeurism because of the photographs of the children, neighbors, and Susan that were taken without their knowledge. In 2012, Josh blew up his house while he and the children were inside, and all 3 died in the incident. This incident led the police to close the investigation. Number 3. Bobby Dunbar. In 1912, Leslie and Percy Dunbar, parents of 4-year-old Bobby Dunbar, took their son on a fishing trip to Swayze Lake near Opelousas, Louisiana. On August 23, 1912, he went missing, and his parents reported the situation to the police. After an 8-month search, the police found a man named William Walters in Mississippi with a boy who looked like Bobby. Walters claimed that the boy's mother, Julia Anderson, gave him custody of the boy, and his name was Charles Bruce Anderson. However, the police didn't believe him and arrested Walters, and then they gave the child to Leslie and Percy Dunbar. The family identified the boy as their own son, Bobby. After hearing about the case, Julia Anderson went to Mississippi to take her son back. Julia also had a chance to identify the boy, and she identified him as her son Bruce, but the judge gave custody of the boy to the Dunbars. She also defended Walters, who had been sentenced to 2 years in prison. There was nothing she could do except for maintaining her claim that he was her son Bruce. In 2004, a grandson of Bobby Dunbar wanted to have a DNA test and took samples from his father, Bob Dunbar Jr., and his father's cousin, the son of Bobby Dunbar's brother, Alonzo Dunbar. And according to the result, which was shocking, they were not related, which meant that the boy taken by the Dunbars was not actually Bobby Dunbar. It is still unknown what happened to the real Bobby Dunbar as of today. Number 4. Brandon Lawson. On August 8, 2013, Brandon Lawson, a 36-year-old father of 4, left his home after an argument with his girlfriend with whom he had been with for more than 10 years. After about 45 minutes, he called his brother Kyle Lawson and told him that he had run out of gas on Highway 277 in Bronte, Texas. Then, Kyle and Kyle's friend drove to the location where Brandon was waiting. In the meantime, although Brandon had a warrant out for his arrest, he called 911 and requested the police to be sent immediately to his location. He told the police in a panic that he was being chased and didn't need an ambulance but cops. Both Kyle and Audrey, Kyle's girlfriend, called Brandon a few times before they arrived at Brandon's location, but the signal was weak, so they couldn't talk properly. However, they stated that they heard that Brandon said he was bleeding during one of those calls. When Kyle and his girlfriend arrived, they saw the police were there too, but Brandon was missing. At first, Kyle thought that Brandon might be hiding because of the cops, and he put some gas in his truck in case Brandon would return. However, there has been no cell phone and bank account activity since then, and nobody has seen him again. Number 5. The Sodder Children. On the 24th of December in 1945, George Sodder, his wife Jenny Sodder, and 9 of their 10 children, the eldest son was in the army, went to sleep as usual. But later on that night they woke up because of a fire in their house. While George, Jenny, and 4 of the children were able to escape, the other 5 children couldn't. After the fire was put out, the bodies of the missing children couldn't be found. The family didn't know if they were dead or alive, but it was clear that they were missing. They didn't rebuild the house, and instead they converted the area into a memorial garden for the lost children. The official said that the cause of the fire was faulty wiring. However, the Sodders questioned this, asking why Christmas lights in the house had remained on during the fire, because they should have gone out if it had been an electrical problem. Also, the investigators told the Sodders that the bodies must have been completely burned. But after talking to a crematorium employee, Jenny Sodder learned that bones would have remained. As of today, there is still a mystery of what happened to those children. Number 6. Rico Harris. Rico Harris was a former professional basketball player who played for the Harlem Globetrotters. He had an alcohol and drug problem in his life, but in 2007, he managed to recover from his addictions. Rico was living in California when he met his girlfriend, Jennifer Song, who came there as a visitor from Seattle in 2012. After 2 years, he decided to move in with his girlfriend, who was living in Seattle, and start a new life there. He even arranged for a job interview for a position as a real estate appraiser in Seattle. Before leaving California, he wanted to visit his mother and brother one more time, but this was a short visit. He talked with his brother and mother, and then left in order to be in Seattle for the job interview in the next morning. After leaving Alhambra, his hometown, on October 10, 2014, he drove north to go to Seattle. Records showed that he stopped south of Sacramento in order to get gas. Also, he called his girlfriend from north of the region and left a message saying he was going up the mountains for a short rest. 3 days later, the police found his car abandoned 60 miles northwest of Sacramento, but he was not there. After a while, several sightings were reported, and the police even found a size 18 footprint where he was allegedly seen, but he remained missing, and nobody has seen him since then. Number 7. Melanie Melison. Melanie Melison had run away from home several times before her disappearance because of the conflicts between her parents. She had been staying with her grandmother for a while before she went missing on October 27, 1989. She attended a party in the woods near an industrial park with 5 male friends of hers. When the party was over the next morning, she didn't return home, and no one knew where she was. It was afternoon when her family discovered that she was missing. The police found out it was 2 boys who last saw and talked to her. However, both of them told different stories about her and claimed that the other was the last one talking to her. The police searched for Melanie using everything they had, from cadaver dogs to a helicopter, but they couldn't find her. In 1992, an anonymous caller told the police to look for Melanie's body in a pond area, but they found nothing. They thought she might have gone to Florida, as she had run away several times before. The police reopened the case in 2009, but couldn't find anything. Although the police now think she was the victim of foul play, it is still a mystery as of today. Number 8. Kelly Day Wilson. On the evening of January 5th, 1992, Kelly left her workplace and went to the bank to make a deposit. However, she never returned. The security camera of the bank recorded a woman coming to the bank and making a night deposit, but it was unclear if she was Kelly. The next day, her stepfather found her car in the parking lot of her workplace, but the tires were flat and the car keys were missing. However, her purse and some belongings were in the car. Although the police suspected some people who knew Kelly, they couldn't find any evidence that linked them to Kelly's case. The police arrested only one man named Michael Bibby after finding out he slashed tires of Kelly's car. But then he was only charged with a misdemeanor, and he was considered to be innocent in the disappearance of Kelly. As of 2017, what happened to Kelly is still a mystery. Number 9. Juan Pedro Martinez. On June 24, 1986, Juan Pedro Martinez, a 10-year-old Spanish boy, was traveling with his father, Andres Martinez, and his mother, Carmen Gomez. Andrew Martinez was a truck driver and was transporting 20,000 liters of sulfuric acid to Bilbao, a city in the Basque region in Spain. He awarded his son with the Bilbao trip because of his good grades at school. When passing through Somosierra, a mountain pass in the north of Madrid, they crashed into another truck coming from the opposite direction. Their truck overturned and sulfuric acid was spread all around. After the authorities cleaned up the area, they found the body of Andres and Carmen, but Juan Pedro was missing. However, they didn't know he was with his parents in the truck at the time of the accident. The police learned that there had been a boy in the truck when they notified Carmen's mother about the accident. According to witnesses, while driving up to the mountains, Andres was driving very fast, which caused the crash. This gave rise to some theories that might have been running away from someone, and when they crashed, the people who were chasing them had kidnapped Juan Pedro before the police reached there. Number 10. Maura Murray. Maura Murray was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. On February 9, 2004, she sent an email to her professors at school saying that she would be missing for a couple of days because of the death of a family member. Also, she sent another email to her boyfriend saying she loved him and would call him during the day. She withdrew some money, bought some alcohol, and left Amherst. After a while, her car skidded off the road and crashed into a snowbank in Haverhill, New Hampshire. At the same time, some residents who saw the accident called the sheriff's department to report it. A school bus driver stopped and offered help, but Maura refused him, saying she called for help. though she didn't according to the records. But the bus driver called the police when he got to his home. When the police arrived at the scene, they saw no one inside or outside of the car. Maura was missing. Since her disappearance, there hasn't been any credited sighting, and as of today, no one knows what happened to Maura Murray. So there you have it, 10 intriguing disappearance cases that remained unsolved. Once again, I do apologize if I made a mess of anybody's names or places, especially the one in Spain. I couldn't pronounce those for the life of me. And again, I would like to thank you all for listening, and I will catch you all in the next video.